Hello everyone. This episode is another look and listen episode, so if you'd like to go to the link in the show notes to our Substack, we've included photos of all the objects mentioned in the stories in this episode. Enjoy. Hello and welcome once again to What's Out There, the paranormal podcast from Out There Paranormal. And yes, we are back. It's me, Nigel, and
it's me, Juliet. We're finally back.
We are finally back. And first of all, I think the most important thing we want to say is thank you so much for all of the support that you've given us. You may well have seen already that there was a bereavement in my family. My father unfortunately passed away, so we've not really been up to sort of doing any podcasts or anything. But now we're back on an even keel, and here we are, back, making more content for you.
We are, and Nigel, I am speaking for Nigel, but he was over the moon with the amount of support that you guys have given at a particularly difficult time. So thank you so very much. It means a lot.
Yeah. And because you've been so wonderful to us, we've decided we're going to buy you some presents. So we've searched high and low for some gifts for you all. We've got everything here, haven't we, Jules?
Yeah.
We've got jewellery.
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
Amazing stuff.
Precious stones.
There's a lot of bling going on here, guys.
Bling, bling, bling. Yeah. We've even gone back on the old IKEA front and found some furniture. If the
Haven't we had enough of furniture
Well,
already?
I don't know. They were haunted ones. These ones are a little bit different.
Yeah, but I'm just with you and furniture after what you put me through the last time.
This furniture's, yeah.
Exactly the same. I do not trust you as far as I can throw you.
Well, you love it, really. I know. Well, you have got a birthday coming up.
Oh, God.
Haven't you?
Yeah, well, can we not tell everybody what age I'm going to be?
Did I say anything about age? Did I mention your age? No, I'm not going to say anything about how old you are.
Oh, my God.
You don't look it.
Ah. Don't you dare say I look older.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Don't you dare.
I was going to say you don't look it and you don't act it, but that's
you rotter.
But then again, I don't act my age, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. More like a 5-year-old.
But anyway, because we're off your old schoolboy. Oh God, where was I? Okay.
Yes.
This is part 3 of our Haunted and Cursed trilogy.
The final one.
We have indeed the final one. We've had Haunted.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a little chat about why things are haunted and cursed. And now we've got cursed objects.
I know.
And I've been manically searching through the internet trying to find some choice items for you.
You've found some good ones, Nigel.
We have, yeah. We haven't gone down the normal route. There's lots of tales about various different little things that we could have gone down. We could have talked about Robert the Doll or the Crying Boy paintings, which are sort of well-known things.
Yeah.
Some of these are going to be well-known. I know a lot of you are going to know these stories here, but I just want a strange selection of things. And I've also got the last story as well, which is not quite what it seems, which I thought was quite interesting. You could actually throw it back on quite a few of these stories, but cursed items are always that little bit more scary.
They are, aren't they?
Than haunted ones.
They certainly are.
Because there's the connotations of what could happen.
That's the scary thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you actually have one of these items in your possession.
Yeah. And you know what they do as well, especially if it's the ones where if you just have sort of bad luck if you own the item, that's fair enough. But there's a lot of these, they're killer objects basically. We've got some really nice ones that if you touch them, you're going to die. So
lovely,
very choice, isn't it? Yeah. I'll ask you one question though. You worked in an office environment like me.
Me? Never.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I still do. Well, Ish.
Ish, yeah. But did you have one of those items at work, the chair that people sat, some woman sat on it, they got pregnant?
Yes, we did.
It's funny, isn't it?
Do you know what? It's actually, we did have one, and women did get pregnant. I didn't sit in that chair.
Are you sure?
I don't think I did. Maybe I did.
Possibly.
Because I have got two boys.
You have got two boys, so
maybe it was the chair.
Was it that chair?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Somebody could have switched it overnight without me knowing. Oh my word!
Thank you, Siri.
Siri's getting involved
jumping
as well.
in. This is all very worrying. Oh God, Siri's appeared on there now as well.
Oh my goodness, Siri, go away.
Go away, Siri.
Leave us alone.
It's earwigging. Earwigging.
I know. Scary.
I sat on a pregnant chair at work.
Did you get pregnant?
I didn't get pregnant. I was a little bit disappointed, actually. But there we go. Tangent. Woo! Off he went.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Cursed objects. And also at the end of this, we have a little story that somebody sent in to us, which is really nice.
Yes, we do.
Here we go. The first on our hit list of cursed objects.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ah! That was a big build-up, wasn't
really
it? It really was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite good. Okay, jewelry. I can never say that word. Jewelry.
Oh, I love jewellery.
Yeah.
Jewellery.
Jewellery.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easy, really, isn't it?
Jewellery.
Bling.
Bling.
Got some
You
stuff.
can say bling. Yeah.
This one's a ring.
A bling ring.
A bling ring. It is. It is the so-called Ring of Destiny. Here we go. Rudolph Valentino was considered to be one of the greatest silent actors of all time, and it wasn't until he bought a ring that everything went pear-shaped for his career and himself. Now, Valentino's enjoying a few days vacation in San Francisco. Whilst walking down the street, he sees a ring in a shop window. It's a single tiger's eye gemstone, not exceptionally valuable, but Valentino really likes it and decides he wants to purchase it.
Now the shopkeeper tells him it's cursed. Called the Ring of Destiny, the item has brought misfortune to all its previous owners. But Valentino doesn't heed the warnings, and he buys it. And when he shows his new purchase to a friend, they had an image of him as a corpse. Valentino shrugged off the premonition, but sadly, this vision would come true.
Valentino's luck changed quite dramatically after buying the ring. His next few films flop at the box office, his marriage falls apart, and on August the 15th, 1926, Valentino collapses at the Hotel Ambassador in Manhattan. On his finger, as always, is the Ring of Destiny, which he never takes off. He's admitted to New York Hospital, diagnosed with appendicitis and gastric ulcers, and immediately undergoes surgery. But complications arise. By August the 18th, the doctors are optimistic, but by the 21st, his condition worsens. He develops pleurisy and his left lung gives out, collapsing completely. On the morning of August the 23rd, he's conscious, talking with doctors about his plans for the future. But shortly afterwards, he falls into a coma and dies a few hours later at the age of just 31.
So that's not the end of the Ring of Destiny. It then passes to Pola Negri, a Polish actress who claims that she is engaged to Valentino. So she takes the ring as a memento. Pola mysteriously falls ill. She does recover, but her career does not. Pola gifts the ring to the singer Russ Colombo.
Russ visits a good friend, photographer Lansing Brown. He's wearing the ring. Brown has an extensive collection of antique firearms, and as the two friends sit in the library, he shows Russ a dueling pistol. Unexpectedly, the pistol goes off, and a piece of the bullet ricochets off a table and strikes Russ Colombo above his left eye. He's taken immediately to hospital, where he sadly passes away.
So, again, that's not the end of the story. The Ring of Destiny ends up in the hands of Joe Casino. Now, he's Russ Colombo's best friend, who is also in show business. He's heard the stories circulating about the notorious gem. So, you know what? He puts it in a display case because he's convinced that its influence can't reach him behind the glass. Well, do you think a bit of glass is going to get to stop that? Not a chance. A few months later, perhaps shelving the superstition as a foolish, unfounded fear, he gives in and he wears it. Guess what? The following week, he's killed, hit by a truck.
You can't make this up, can you?
It's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant, yeah. Because guess what? Somebody else has got hold of the ring. It's Joe's brother Dell. He inherits the ring and he wears it, but he doesn't experience any misfortune.
No?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He keeps it locked up most of the time, though. But rumours spread and a certain James Willis learns about the infamous gem and he decides to steal it.
Oh, no.
Okay, he breaks into Dell's house, but the alarm goes off and the police arrive in a flash. And as James flees, the officers shoot and kill him. The ring is found in his pocket and it's returned to the safe.
Oh dear. So then Edward Small, who's a director, wants to make a film about Valentino. So he hires Jack Dunn, a professional skater, who decides to try his luck in cinema. The director manages to obtain various items that belong to Valentino for the film. Guess what, folks? Including the ring. Now, the actor, Jack Dunn, wears the ring for 2 weeks. His screen test, get this, reportedly went perfectly. And to celebrate, Jack went to Texas with friends. But, alas, a week later, he dies of a rare blood disease, tularemia. He was 21 years old.
That's some body count, isn't it?
Right.
Some body count. As for the ring, its current whereabouts remains unknown. Some claim it's in the vault of a bank in Los Angeles, whilst others say it's withstood countless theft attempts since being stored there, and some swear it was actually stolen.
Some claim it was lost in a fire, but in reality, no one actually knows for sure where it is. And with its fearsome reputation, perhaps it's just best it stays hidden away.
From one bit of bling to another. And this time, it's a gemstone.
It's a gem of a tale.
It is a gem of a tale. We're talking... Oh, did I really need to do that?
Not really, no.
I didn't, did I? Okay, this one goes under the rather lovely title of The Cursed Amethyst. And it's a boy's own adventure tale.
That's a bit sexist, isn't it?
Well, no, that's what they say.
Boy's own?
Well, it's like Daring Do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the old Empire
Well,
and all that kind of
you've got
stuff.
ladies listening to
Tally
this
ho,
stuff.
chaps, let's go.
No, well, ladies were involved somewhere down the line.
They may well have been.
Well, yes. You know, come on.
Yeah, I was just looking at this, see if there's a woman mentioned, but actually it's all blokes.
Watch it, you. It's equality.
I know.
Yeah.
No, well, hang about.
I'm just having a quick skim here.
All right.
Just having a quick read. Yeah, there's a lady there.
There's you
mentioned.
see, there's a lady.
Yeah.
That's all right. There's another lady at the end there.
Yeah, they probably all die knowing you.
No. It's some bloke's wife telling him off. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? And I was Daring Do there in the colonies and that kind of stuff.
What?
Well, you said to me I had to try and link this to the first line of this story.
Well,
okay.
I'm completely lost now.
So I'm just talking about, we're talking about the
Do you actually know what we're talking about?
Indian Mutiny.
Okay, then.
1857.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There may have been something called the Black Hole of Calcutta.
There may well have been.
I'm not sure if it was that rebellion or a
I'm
later
not
one.
sure it was.
But there we go. But here we are.
Okay.
We're in India.
Let's do this.
1857.
Indeed.
And this amethyst has been stolen out of India.
And it's cursed.
It is the cursed amethyst.
Indeed.
We got totally lost there, didn't we?
Well, you did.
Where are
I
we?
was just trying to rescue you from the rabbit hole you were heading down.
God. Anyway, okay, right. Ever since it was stolen out of India during the rebellion of 19... No.
Slow it down, Nige.
I got overexcited, didn't I?
Come on, let's do this.
It was daring do. Ever since it was stolen out of India during the rebellion of 1857, the Indian Mutiny, I do believe, this amethyst has brought its owners nothing but despair and devastation. Known as the Cursed Amethyst, it's a pretty boring title, isn't it, really?
Well, it is.
Yeah, I know. Could be called something more exciting, couldn't it?
Such as?
Well, there's that Hope Diamond. That's another sort of scary gemstone that kills people. The Kohli Noor Diamond. That's another one.
Amethyst of death.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
It's now going to be the amethyst. It's the amethyst of death from now on.
Oh, yeah, that sounds a bit cheesy, though, doesn't
It
it?
does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have a think about it.
All right. Anyway, this cursed amethyst now resides in the vault of the Natural History Museum in London. We got there in the end. Okay. A Bengal cavalryman named Colonel W. Ferris is said to have brought the amethyst to England after it was stolen out of the Temple of Indra in Kanpur. Yet the beautiful violet stone's sinister nature soon manifested when he lost just about everything he owned and his health deteriorated.
So, with this beautiful amethyst, the same misery happened to his son, who inherited the stone. So, he gave it to her. That's nice of him, isn't it?
Yeah.
He knows it's full of misery.
Yeah.
And so what do? Oh, here, mate, have this.
Gives it to his friend.
So he gives it to his... What kind of a friend does that to a friend?
I don't know.
Right.
I'm a bit worried because you gave me that shiny thing once.
What shiny thing?
You didn't realise.
What I was going to say? What shiny thing are you thinking of? Anyway, so this friend who happens not really to be a friend because, you know, you're going to give a stone that kills people, you know, to your mate. I just don't get that at all. But anyway, he gave this dangerous, nasty stone to his so-called friend, quote, quote, who subsequently committed suicide. So in an unsettling twist, and it is rather unsettling, isn't it? Let's be honest. That friend had willed the stone. What? How do you will a stone?
Well, he wrote it in his will, saying, "I've got this
will a stone.
This amethyst is worth a lot of money, and I leave it in my will too."
Would you really will a dangerous stone to someone that's going to kill people?
But he didn't know it killed him, did he?
Oh man. Anyway,
He was just depressed and stuff.
and killed himself.
Yeah.
Right.
And then willed the stone.
Oh my word.
Where did it go?
So he willed the stone back to the sun. The sun.
Who'd given it to him?
So he willed. Right. Okay. So he's gone. I know. I'm going to make sure that evil stone goes to my son.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So he willed the stone back to the son, who found the amethyst returned to him now with a body count to its legend.
Oh, okay. That's one gone so far.
I know.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
Sinister.
And you've got this stone that you didn't want to be willed back to you.
Well, would you give it to your family if you knew it was going to kill everyone?
I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
Don't even give it a thought.
That's true. I wouldn't actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was distracted. I was
Yeah.
looking at the next bit, thinking, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah, all right
Because
then.
this story's already gone completely to pieces.
Okay, so what happened in 1899?
In 1890, Edward Heron Allen received the stone. Heron Allen was an ambitious man with an insatiable quest for knowledge.
Sounds like a bird.
He does. What? Heron Allen? Yeah. Herons don't make a noise
The
like
heron
that.
sounds like...
No idea what a heron
sound.
sounds.
Okay.
It's more like a parrot, isn't it?
A little bit.
If his name had been Parrot Allen, it would have been okay. Anyway, he's got this insatiable quest for knowledge. He's written books on violin making, palmistry, and translations of Arabic literature.
Interesting.
Sounds like a very interesting gentleman.
Indeed.
Yet, he soon found himself rattled by a series of disasters, perhaps not making the connection to his recent acquisition. Here we go again.
Would you give the stone to... Would you? Just hang on a minute, right? If you actually knew this stone, right, was going to kill people, it wasn't a friend, was it? It was somebody he hated.
But did he know?
Oh,
I don't know. Did he know? Did he know the history?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. His quest for knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a mate. I think it was somebody he was pretending it was a friend.
Yeah.
And he just had enough of, and he just thought, do you know what? I'm going to slip this to you and see what happens.
Well, actually, it says he gave the stone to a friend who had begged him for it.
Yeah, right.
Give
And I
me
bet
the
he
stone.
was really reluctant to let it go.
I want the stone.
Yeah, he was like, there you go, off you go.
This friend just happened to be a singer, and she suddenly found her voice was dead and gone, and she never sang again.
See what I mean?
I know.
He didn't like her, did he?
No, he didn't. Obviously, she wasn't that good a singer.
Well, there you go. See, he just wanted to get rid of
I
her.
know what I can do. I'll give you that stone, and
That's it.
hopefully you won't do any more singing.
I need that stone. There are quite a few people in my life I would like to give that stone to.
I don't like the way you're looking at this, Jules.
No, I'm not looking at you. I'm just thinking I have a bit of a list of people I would like not just to remain silent.
Have this beautiful amethyst.
No, not you, but I do have a list.
Phew, thank God for that.
Yeah, I have a list.
Yeah. I'm going to watch out for mysterious presents from you now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they're shiny objects.
That's it.
Your birthday coming up.
Oh, no, don't you even think about it. So, we got to the point with this horrific stone, okay? Nobody wants it. Desperate to be rid of the thing. Heron Allen, who sounds like a bird,
He does.
tossed it into Regent's Canal. And yet, you guessed it, 3 months later, after having been rescued from the depths by a dredger, a dealer gave it back to him.
How did he know
What are
this?
the odds? What?
Like-
Hang on.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Come
Where
on.
did that come from?
Yeah, right. So, folks, back in possession of the amethyst and obviously a little bit worried that it would ruin his infant daughter's life, Heron Allen, who isn't a bird, encased it in 7 boxes.
7 boxes.
7.
Not 1.
7.
Not 2.
Yeah.
But 7.
A whole 7.
Yeah.
And he stashed it in the bank. And with it was a letter chronicling the gem's long and rather wicked journey.
So he did know.
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly. He's a villain.
He is.
He is. And he wrote,
This stone is terribly accursed and is stained with blood and the dishonour of everyone who has ever owned it.
so the letter also mandated that the amethyst remain in the bank until at least 33 years after Heron Allen's death.
It didn't.
No.
It didn't.
No.
No, because 3 years after his death in 1943, his daughter unlocked the amethyst and gave it to the museum. It was accompanied by a letter that cautioned against the lilac stone's history of evil, reportedly reading,
Whoever shall then open it shall first read out this warning, and then do as he pleases with the jewel. My advice to him or her is to cast it into the sea.
The amethyst went on display in the Natural History Museum in 2007, set within a ring of silver with 2 scarab beetle beads decorating one end. Yet some believe the curse has yet to fade. Curator Richard Savin states in his Museum Secrets video from the History Channel that while transporting the amethyst from the symposium of the Heron Allen Society,
We drove through the most amazing storm we'd ever witnessed. Lightning was flashing on both sides of the car, and my wife was shouting at me, "Throw that damn jewel away! You shouldn't have brought it!"
any time he's attempted to attend a subsequent meeting, he became violently ill. Of course, he notes, it could all just be a coincidence. That's all the bling done.
Right.
I know. That amethyst story got very confusing.
I loved it.
Because it's backwards and forwards, and who's got that, and giving it to your friends. And...
it's a bit odd if you know something bad's happening, you just like, oh, here's my friend that could do with a very evil jewel that's going to kill you. Gift.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, now, right,
now we've done the bling.
We've got to talk about where we're going to put the jewels, right?
We have. Okay.
Okay. So
we need somewhere safe to put them.
Safe?
Safe.
This isn't very safe.
Well, I don't know, actually, because when you read the story...
Well, I know, but it's still...
Yeah, actually, we don't want to be the ones actually putting the items into this because... Indeed. Because now we're going to tell you the story of the Conjure Chest.
So we're going to head off to Kentucky, USA.
Yee-haw! I don't know if they do that in Kentucky, do they? They might do. I have no idea. They've got nice chicken there, apparently.
Nice chicken.
Kentucky Fried.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's not... Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't know. Is that where it comes from?
I don't know.
Is that where Colonel Sanders originated from?
I would guess.
I'm going to have to do some research now and get back to you and let you know whether or not Colonel Sanders actually does come from Kentucky.
It's finger licking good.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Do you know it's meant to be one of the most fattening things you can eat, Kentucky Fried Chicken, apparently?
Remember we did the story at Christmas?
Yes!
Where the Japanese actually have that for Christmas dinner.
I know, it's amazing.
Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas dinner.
That's brilliant.
Sorry, I mustn't do...
No!
Yeah, sorry.
Nige!
I hope no Japanese listeners... I'm sorry if I offended you with my Japanese person impersonation. It wasn't very good.
No, it was terrible.
No. Where were we? Anyway, we find ourselves in Kentucky, in the USA, around 1830. And one Jeremiah Graham is making preparations for the birth of his firstborn child. Now, Jeremiah decides he wants a hand-carved chest of drawers to keep the child's belongings in, and he gets a certain Remus, one of his slaves, to make the item. Remus completes the tasks and shows the newly made chest of drawers to his master. Jeremiah, however, is not impressed with the work, and he hands out a savage beating that leaves poor Remus dead.
That's horrible.
I know.
That's really horrible.
It's horrible, isn't it? Yeah.
So, with all this going on, some of the other slaves decide to get revenge of sorts for poor Remus. And one of them is a conjure man, a witch doctor of sorts who works a curse on the chest. Now he uses the dried blood of an owl and he scatters it into the drawers. Jeremiah decides to use the chest, and it was moved into the bedroom of his child, and the drawers were filled with the child's belongings. Shortly afterwards, you guessed it, the child sadly passes away. This was the first victim of the Conjure Chest curse. We say first victim because the chest goes on to claim the lives of another 13 victims, and we just happen to know all of their names.
So here we go. Victim number 2, Jeremiah's twin brother Jonathan. He had a son. The son's clothes were placed in the chest, and he was stabbed by his body servant on his 21st birthday. Amanda Winchell Graham, wife of Moses Graham, put the chest in her attic.
So then we have victim 3 and 4, John Ryan, who was a recent immigrant from Ireland. He eloped with Catherine Winchell. Now Amanda Winchell Graham arranged for them to live on land belonging to the Grahams, and very kindly gave them the chest, which he took from the attic. Both John and Catherine used the chest. John planned to go to New Orleans to find work, and was sadly killed in an accident. Catherine Winchell Ryan fell very ill, and she died shortly after. So, the chest is handed down to one of their children, Eliza.
Victim number 5. Louise Gregory, a child of Eliza Ryan and John David Gregory, died at around the age of 10 years old. You've guessed it. Her clothes were put into the chest. Victim 6. Eliza and John David Gregory's only son, Ernest Gregory, married Stella Stonecipher. Stella put her wedding clothes in the chest. The couple wed in 1895. Stella died within 2 years of their wedding.
And then we have victims 7 and 8. Mabel Lewis Whitehead, a relative to the Gregory family. They came to live with Eliza and John David Gregory in 1884. Mabel married Wilbur Harlan in 1897. And in 1901, Mabel and Wilbur had a baby named Chester. Chester?
Chester.
Bit like a chest.
Chester drawers.
Creepy. Whose clothes went into the chest. Chester's clothes went into the chest. Oh no! Poor little Chester sadly died at 2 weeks old. Wilbur Harlan's clothes were also placed in the chest, and Wilbur died in 1905.
Victim number 9. John David Gregory's nephew Emmett was the son of John David's sister Lucy B. Gregory. I hope you're keeping up with this because there's going to be a test later. Lucy hid knitted gloves and a scarf in the chest for her son's Christmas present. Emmett worked for the railroad. One evening in December 1909, Emmett got off a train and fell 30 foot through a trestle.
Boy, well now we have victim 10. And when Eliza Gregory's husband, John David, died in 1908, Eliza rearranged her house and moved the chest into her room. Eliza, very sadly, soon took her own life and died on April the 4th, 1915.
Victim 11. The chest then moved to Louisville with Eliza and John David Gregory's granddaughter, Virginia Carey Hudson Cleveland, and her husband, Curtly Cleveland. Virginia put her first child's baby clothes in the chest. The baby was born prematurely and died the same day on August the 8th, 1915.
Victim 12. Virginia and Curtly Cleveland's older daughter was Virginia Hudson Cleveland, whose wedding clothes had been placed in the chest. Wilbur Brister married Virginia Hudson Cleveland in 1943. In December 1944, Wilbur was rushed to a hospital for an appendectomy. He died December 9th, 1944, from an overdose of ether.
Victim 13. Virginia and Curtly's neighbour, Herbert H. Sonny Moore Jr., put his hunting clothes in the chest. Moore was killed in a gun accident at the home of neighbours on April the 5th, 1946.
Not all of the victims of the curse died. One of them contracted polio. She survived but was affected by the illness for the rest of her life. The last victim of the chest was Richard, Virginia and Curtly's son. Now Richard put his clothes in the chest, and less than a week later he was stabbed through the hand at school.
Virginia by now had had enough of the chest and didn't want anyone else to die. She asked Sally, a maid who had worked for Virginia most of her life, if she knew how to break the conjure, and Sally said she might be able to.
So Sally told Virginia she needed a dead owl, brought unasked by a friend, and then she had to take the leaves of a willow tree planted by a friend and boil them for 1 day in sight of the owl. Next, she was to put the liquid in a jug and bury it, with the handle facing east under a flowering bush. If it worked, either Virginia or Sally would die before all the leaves fell off the bush in the fall. Virginia and Sally completed the steps necessary to break the curse, and Sally died the following September, possibly the last victim of the curse.
That was a complicated bloody way to
Well, this
get
is
a
what,
curse
yeah,
off. I mean,
some of these things you have to do.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Anyway, Virginia Carey Hudson Main, who was the last owner, donated the conjured chest to the Kentucky Historical Society in 1976, and the chest is still there to this day.
Now, just to be on the safe side, some of the owl feathers used to break the curse remain in the top drawer to keep the curse at bay.
Good grief. And that's just like, wow. Yeah, you mean, you could say, sort of, here we go, put my sceptical head on. You could say that some of it is just coincidence, and some of those sort of died a little while after, but there's a lot of them that have died shortly after they put the stuff in the chest.
This is the thing.
It is really, wow.
I'd love to do a bit of psychometry on that chest.
Yeah, I mean, it's there.
I would love to do that.
One thing we forgot to say when we started this is the fact that we have pictures of every single one of these, and this is another look and listen.
You need to put thing in at the beginning.
I need to go back and put something at the beginning.
Well, you can do that, can't you?
I can cut something at the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this now and you've heard the bit that I've cut in at the beginning,
You'll know why.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. I'll tell you what, Jules. After that last story, I think I need to have a sit down.
Oh, no.
You love my furniture, don't you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's got to be one, hasn't there?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sitting in any horrible chair.
Yeah, it's not a haunted sofa or anything like that. But instead it is...
The dead man's chair.
The dead man's chair.
No.
I love it. It's another completely bonkers tale with a whole, trail of bodies attached to it. Anyway, in the Thirsk Museum in North Yorkshire, the home to the infamous chair of Thomas Busby. So what makes this chair so infamous? Well, settle down, boys and girls, and I will explain. Let's go back to 1702 and meet Thomas Busby. Now, Thomas was a crook, a coiner, in fact, running a counterfeit coin-making business with his father-in-law, Daniel Alty. One day the pair have an altercation. There are various stories about why they argued. Some say it's because of Alty's daughter, who Busby happened to be married to, and others claim that Alty had sat in Busby's special chair in the local pub.
Special
chair.
Okay.
Anyway.
So Busby was arrested, and he was tried and condemned to death by hanging. After his execution, his corpse was to be suspended in chains from a gibbet. So the story goes, as Busby was marched to the gallows, his executioners granted him one last detour to the pub.
"May sudden death come on anyone who dare sit in my chair,"
he declared, and indeed the chair appears to have been rather lethal, for there are many tales told about those who have dared to sit in the chair, and they paid a terrible price.
In 1894, a chimney sweep who sat in the chair was said to have been found the following morning hanging beside Busby's gibbet post.
During the Second World War, it was claimed that Canadian airmen from the nearby Skipton-on-Swale base dared each other to sit on the chair, and those that did, well, they never returned from the missions they were sent on.
In 1967, two Royal Air Force pilots, probably from the same base, they sat in the chair, and then, when driving home from the pub, crashed into a tree, and both of them were killed.
A handful of years later, a builder was dared to sit in the infamous chair, and just hours later, he fell to his death from a roof.
Around the same time, it's claimed that a cleaner had accidentally sat down upon the cursed chair after stumbling into it whilst mopping the floor. This time, her death came in the form of a brain tumour.
So you can imagine, eventually in 1978, the current landlord, Tony Earnshaw, decided enough was enough, and he moved the chair out of the public's way and he placed it in the cellar. However, a delivery man was curious as to why a chair was among the beer barrels, and he sat in it. Well, he was killed minutes later in a crash a few miles down the road.
Now, after all these shenanigans, the chair was donated to the Thirsk Museum, where it remains to this day, but it's nailed 5 feet above the ground on a wall to stop anyone else from sitting in it.
Good thing too.
It was, I was going to say, you wouldn't
Right?
put it on the ground and let someone sit on that, would you?
Good Lord, no.
Yeah, yeah. Fascinating tale. Really interesting. Is it an old wives' tale? Is it true?
Well, you know, we can talk about things because obviously the chair would be made of wood.
Yeah.
Wood was a living product. Cells retain memory.
Mm-hmm.
We can go down that rabbit hole if you want to, that whole thing.
Held on to it and passed it on.
Yeah. Interesting.
So there we go. The cursed chair of death.
Don't even think about ringing me.
I'm ringing you.
Right?
I'm not ringing you.
No, don't even think about it.
I'll give you a new mobile phone now.
No. Thank you
You've
very
seen
much.
what that is, don't you?
Yes.
You've seen
and
it, haven't you?
Yes.
You've seen the title of the next one, haven't you?
Yeah.
It is the phone number of death. I know. He's got his own phone number.
Oh, no.
Ring, ring. Hello, Grim Reaper. Can I help you? I'm sure he doesn't sound like that. But yes, this is actually the phone number of death. Do you know what the phone number of death is?
I do. 0888888888.
8888. Lots of eights. Okay.
I'm surprised it's not a load of sixes, actually.
I know, you would think it would be, wouldn't you?
Right,
And
yeah.
apparently the number 8's lucky in China.
Well, it's not in Bulgaria.
It isn't, though,
clearly.
because this is the Bulgarian phone number of death. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a true story. Okay, so as Juliet said, 0888888888 is the Bulgarian phone number of death. 3 people used this number, and after using it, they all died. And now this number has been suspended.
So does that mean if you try and ring it now, you won't die?
No, you won't die, because it's not actually there.
Well, I know.
No one's got the
even
number.
if you tried to ring it,
Yeah, you're
that
okay.
could still cause bad luck.
No, you're okay because it's not your phone number. You have to be
Okay.
the person answering the phone with a number attached to it.
Okay.
So you have to be the one picking up the phone and saying, "Hello, this is 088888888888.
Oh, my word.
Can I help you?" Anyway, the first owner of this number, oh no, here we go, was Vladimir Grajnov.
Well pronounced, Nigel.
Grajnov, the former chief executive of Bulgarian mobile phone company Mobitel. The company that issued the number, plus 359, because that's the international code for Bulgaria,
Indeed.
888888888, to Vladimir, and he mysteriously died of cancer, aged 48 in 2001.
Poor fella.
But there were rumours that this cancer was caused by a trade competitor using a radioactive substance.
No.
Yeah,
I hope Russia wasn't involved in that.
this is the thing, isn't it? You see, yeah.
Now, this number was then passed to Bulgarian mafia boss Konstantin Dimitrov. Is that correct?
It is Dimitrov, yeah.
It's Konstantin, forgive me. Dimitrov was gunned down in 2003 by an assassin in the Netherlands during a trip to inspect his drug smuggling empire. And as per the reports, the total worth of his empire was £500 million. Now, this 31-year-old mafia boss had the mobile with him when he was shot while dining out with a model. As per reports, Russian mafia bosses, jealous of Dimitrov's drug smuggling operation, were said to have been behind the killing.
Okay, the phone number was then passed to crooked businessman and estate agent Konstantin, another Konstantin,
Yes.
Dishliev.
It's difficult to pronounce,
It
isn't
is,
Nigel?
yeah. As fate would have it, Dishilev was also shot outside an Indian restaurant in Bulgaria's capital, Sofia. His killing happened in 2005 while he was actually talking on the Jinxed line. The report said, as per the reports, Dishilev had been honestly,
Dishliev, isn't it?
Dishliev.
Yeah.
I got it right first time, man. Complicated names. Dishliev had been secretly operating a massive cocaine trafficking operation before his murder. He died after £130 million worth of drug were intercepted by police on its way into the country from Colombia.
Blimey. So, by all accounts, the number is still suspended. And, if you call it, you just get a message saying the phone is outside of network coverage. Don't even try it, folks.
Don't.
Seriously.
Don't have that number.
It's not nice.
You don't want it.
No.
The thing is, when you sort of look at anything, well, actually, hang about. There's a drug dealer and a mafia guy.
Dodgy.
And surely they're going to get shot anyway.
Yeah, right.
But then again, there's the poor guy who had it first.
Very dodgy.
Who was then poisoned by some radioactive substance.
Horrible.
What's that stuff called they put in that bloke's tea and killed him? Polonium.
Nasty.
Yeah, that was
Horrible
the Russians,
stuff.
wasn't it? But there we go. The phone number of death. It's great, isn't it? Now...
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, it's this... Yeah.
Go on, just do it. Just say it.
There's a theme for all of these, isn't there? You may have gathered. I've gone for the most lethal.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Of course I would.
Yes.
I want to go for a nice simple one that makes your hair go green or anything like that.
That's it, yeah.
You know, badly caused to fart for the rest of your life or anything like that. No. I had to go and hunt down the goddess of death, a statue. Also known as the woman from Lemb. Lemb. That's a nice word, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, our final tale takes us back to 1976 and sunny Cyprus, where an archaeological dig organised by Professor Edgar Peltenberg has just unearthed a very unusual item. It's a 36 centimetre high limestone figure dating to the... Oh, I shouldn't have done this, should I? You saw that word, didn't you? Dating to the Chalcolithic period from around 3500 BC. The object is described as a naked pregnant woman with short outstretched arms with a high phallic neck supporting her raised head. This figure is locally known as the Lady of Lemb, which is where it was found.
However, we know a completely different tale about this unusual object because it's also known across the internet as the Goddess of Death. And she was not discovered in 1976, but she was also found in 1878. And the figure has a fearsome reputation as a cursed object that has led to the death of numerous members of the families it's belonged to over the generations.
Okay, so Lord Elfont was his first owner. Within 6 years, all 7 members of his family died. The second owner, Ivor Manucci, had a similar experience. He and his entire family died within 4 years. And Lord Thompson Knowles' family, who got it next, also perished within 4 years.
So for an unspecified amount of time after that, the statue apparently vanished. Until it wound up in the hands of Sir Alan Biverbrook. He, his wife, and their 2 daughters were next to die.
But before the seemingly cursed artefact could finish its dark work, Biverbrook's 2 surviving sons donated the statue to the Royal Scottish Museum in Edinburgh. To top off the mystery, the museum curator who handled the statue died within a year.
So legend has it that so scary as the statue, the museum does not even have it listed on its inventory. Other stories state that the figurine was found at the bottom of a mass grave, passed through the hands of a series of collectors, and was even seized by the Nazis during World War II.
Perhaps now we can understand why the figure is known as the Goddess of Death.
Now, you would not be surprised to hear that all of the previous tale is completely made up. Well, it is, and the story continues to be shared across the internet, along with various added embellishments, including the tale of a witch who was burned at the stake in Lember, but got her revenge when sparks from the fire set the village alight and burned the place down. The villagers had created the figurine to bind the witch's power, but something went awry. At daybreak, all that was left of the burned-out village were the ruins of huts, a pit filled with charred bodies, and the figurine atop the ashes.
Now, the real reason why the Royal Scottish Museum does not have the figure on its inventory is not because it's scary, but because it's actually on display in the Museum of Cyprus. The figure is most likely a representation of the Earth Mother or a fertility symbol that may be a remote ancestor of Aphrodite. Not so much a goddess of death, but more a goddess of life or love. So there you go. It just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that everything you read on the internet...
It's not true!
It's not true, because this is completely made up. And it's brilliant. The fact that there's so many stories attached to this thing.
Absolutely.
But no, it's complete and utter bollocks.
I was going to say poppycock.
You can say poppycock then.
I will.
Yeah, because it's much more polite, isn't it?
Indeed.
I know, I'm sorry.
Potty mouth.
Indeed. Terrible, isn't it? So there we go. Our collection of cursed objects. We hope you've enjoyed them, and we've enjoyed sharing them with you.
Yeah, and I just hope you enjoyed sort of looking at the objects and listening to us as well, because that kind of brings it home a little bit more, so you can see what we're babbling on about.
It's nice to actually look at them and see what, because they are just like, when you look at them, they're just like completely normal.
Well, it's really difficult in a podcast as well. If somebody's explaining something to you and you can't actually see it.
No.
It's nice to be able to listen and look at the objects at the same time.
Pop the pictures up too.
Yeah.
And we have actually been sent a really lovely tale by one of our listeners.
Yes, she did. Where
Yeah.
is my thingy? Hang on. It's on my phone somewhere.
Yeah, and I've got one on here because we've got a couple, haven't we?
Which one? Do you want me to read mine out first?
You can do, because yours is a cursed one, isn't it?
Okay. So I had this one come through. Okay, and it says, "Hi Jules, re the cursed objects. I wanted to tell you about a friend's parents who were given cursed hand-knitted jumpers as a wedding present in the 1970s. And for reference, they were Macedonian. They immediately threw them out."
We've gone back to the lovely person that shared the story with us because we want to know what the curse was.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
happened?
hopefully,
If you put them on, what happened?
hopefully she'll come back and say.
Yeah, and we'll be able to share that with you. So this next story comes from a friend of mine called Hazel, and she'd like to tell us about an object that she has. And she sent a message saying, "Hi there, I have an object. It's a porcelain monk that belonged to my father's mother. She died in the mid-20s when she gave birth to my uncle David. My dad was 7. In the 1980s, when I still lived at home in Helsden, Norwich, my uncle David gave us the monk. He said it was their mother's and she had had it all that time, saying it was time for Dad to have it. It sat on the mantelpiece in the dining room for some time. One night when I came home from a night out, Dad met me in the hall and told me something very strange had happened. When he was holding the monk, I thought he was winding me up and I went to bed. The following day after work, I picked up the monk, and as I held it, it got darker in the creases around his neck, the folds of his clothes and his facial features too. I called up to Mum and said, "It's doing it again." Mum told me it didn't do it when she held it, nor when my sister picked it up. As I held the monk, tears of water started to flow along the creases and folds from the little stool he sits on, which has a hole in the bottom, and that had water dripping out, so much so that it pooled in the palm of my hand. I tasted the water, it wasn't salty. When I replaced him on the mantelpiece, he dried up. Mum even put him in the oven thinking it might have been condensation, but every time Dad or I picked him up, he dribbled water.
Ooh.
I even showed my friend Yvette. We had no explanation whatsoever. A week later, my grandfather's father, wow, that was complicated, died, and the monk never seeped water again. She's still got the monk, and even though he looks a bit creepy, no one else will take him. And we do actually have a photo of the monk, and we've shared that one for you. Now, that's a weird one, because you do get these religious objects where they do actually cry, don't they? I mean, isn't it the is it the one at Lourdes, the Virgin Mary at Lourdes?
Yeah, I mean, some of them have been proved as fakes, haven't they?
Yeah.
There are quite a few that are fakes.
Yeah, they're supposed to weep, and they weep blood and all kinds of stuff.
There's I think I watched a TV documentary on that, and there is some kind of scientific explanation for that. Do you know, for the love of me, and it's irritating me, I cannot remember what it was, but there was some kind of scientific explanation.
What is that?
So, guys, if any of you can remember better than me, because I have a memory like a sieve, what the explanation actually was, do let us know.
Yeah, and of course, if you have your own stories to share with us, they don't have to be haunted objects, they can be any kind of stories.
Anything at all.
That's it. We're more than happy to tell your ghost stories. We'd love to hear them.
UFOs, cryptozoology.
Anything at all.
Do you know what I'd love to do? Is a podcast of other people's experiences and read them out. I think that would be awesome.
We can. We may even be able to get some people to guest on here and read their stories out.
That'd be cool.
So if you're interested in doing that, contact us using our email address. Here we go. outtheregroup@icloud.com.
Well done, Nige.
Pretty certain that's what it is. I'm now going to have
just
to look just to make sure, because I've done this before, haven't I? We had to stop last time, didn't we? Because I got it wrong.
Just a minute, folks. We'll be right back.
Here we go. Hello, folks. Sorry for the brief halt in our broadcast. We're back again now with... I did this last time, didn't I?
You did.
Honestly,
I'm sitting here to sniggering in the background.
Completely useless.
You're not.
Our email address is outtheregroup@icloud.com. Okay, but you can also personally message us on any of our social media.
Yep.
We're
Instagram,
on Facebook.
Yeah, X or Twitter.
Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
We're everywhere, aren't
you
we?
can get us on there. Just look for Out There Paranormal, and we are hiding on there. So that is the last part of our Haunted and Cursed trilogy.
Another one done.
Exactly.
You know what, Nige? We've just got to finish Ghost Airfields and Amazon Prime.
There's so many things to finish off.
There's so much to do, isn't there?
There is lots to do. And I'm now short sort of hiatus due to the unfortunate bereavement has really sort of put us back a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that couldn't be helped.
We're up and running again now, and we will have more content coming your way, including our Out and About There paranormal investigation. You're going to send us somewhere.
I know. We haven't forgotten about that one, guys.
We haven't. I do have a list. I do have a list of suitable sites.
Yep.
And we will be putting a poll up very soon on all of our social media for you to vote where to send us
and
to.
you get to choose where we're going to go.
And there's some spooky locations.
And we're going to record it live.
We are.
God help us as to where we're going to go. What's going to happen?
Hopefully, we'll get another corker like we did when we did the woods at East Harling.
Oh gosh, that was terrifying.
That was absolutely terrifying.
Honestly, guys, if you haven't listened to that one, do listen to it, because there are noises on that we still haven't got an explanation.
We do not know what it was. It's the episode called "If You Go Down to the Woods Today." Go and have a listen, because it's really very good.
And it's just bizarre.
It is just completely.
It was chucking it down with rain, wasn't it, that evening in the woods, and it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And something made a noise, and boy, oh boy, I have not walked that quickly back to the car ever.
I couldn't keep up with you. It's just great. You know when you got a slow friend and there's something creepy following you, throw your slow friend to the creature following you and run away. That's what Julia did.
No, I did not.
She's only got little legs, but boy, can they move quickly.
Hey, I did not leave you. You were just walking very quickly with me.
I know.
I could hear you puffing and blowing behind me like a steam train.
Because I'm old and fat and very unfit.
You are not at all. You are not. But it was... I just don't know what that noise was. It was weird.
Strange. Yeah.
It was very, very odd.
So hopefully we can do that again.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll pop that poll up. Keep an eye out for it. In the meantime, it's time for us to go.
I know.
It's great to be back.
It is.
Sharing our adventures with you again and telling you our stories. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. So it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Take care, folks.
Yeah, goodbye.